again, a big part of the reason why I enjoy traveling and why I've wanted to live abroad in a variety of countries is because I want to see how various countries have dealt with issues that we still have in America, and see if we can't learn from things that have been, for them, been a success or been a failure, and see what can work for us. The first area of wanting to improve life in America is in the environmental area, in my opinion. And one of the things they do in Issei, which is the city where I've been living for a year, is compel recycling. Now, this does mean that you have to, wash off your plastics and your cans before you throw them away. Bit of a hassle, but I think worth it. Another thing is that I've seen quite a number of smaller cars in Japan, and I think some smart cars and potentially some hybrids or electric cars perhaps, because I don't see any exhaust pipe on some of these cars driving by. Maybe I just missed it, but I didn't see them. And considering how expensive gas is here, even compared to the US, it's ridiculous that we can't have hybrids and electric cars by now. Which also brings up a documentary I've been meaning to watch for quite some time. Who Killed the Electric Car? I've been trying to find it online because I've been on kind of a documentary kick lately, and I can't find it. So if anyone has a link to where I can watch this movie in full, that would be awesome. Please share. But one thing that I have seen in previews for this and in interviews about it is that there's a woman on that documentary who has installed solar panels on her house in order to generate electricity for her fully electric car. And I would really love to know how feasible that is. Not only because, of course, it's a good environmental idea, but because you can save money. And I like saving money. If you're having your own electric generator, then you don't really have much of an electric bill, right? So anybody who has information about how to go about installing these, and that's the other thing, I've heard it's very expensive to install solar panels initially, but I guess that must be the cost of the installation and not of the panels, because solar panels are on freaking little calculators and keychains and things. They can't be that expensive just to make. So again, if anyone has any information on how to do this, I would love to hear about it. And the other thing that I would recommend is that people write into elected officials and to car manufacturers saying that there is actually a market out there for this and that people want these cars. Because otherwise, the foreign companies that are already making hybrids and already working on electric cars are going to outsell you. You don't want that to happen, okay? So, American cars, start making electrics, okay? Cool. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about is public transportation that is much better not only in Japan but also in Poland. Japan has the train system going between major cities and has, of course, cabbies and everything too. Poland also has trams and buses going throughout their cities. All of them wonderful. And when I'm thinking about how to improve public transportation, I'm actually thinking specifically of Nashville, since that's the area where I've grown up, and it has a really crappy public transportation system. I'm not sure how much of one actually even exists. Now, we have three problems in Nashville related to traffic. One is, clogging the highways and especially the interstates every day during rush hour. It's ridiculous how long you have to sit in your car and wait and just, waste gas that whole time because you're just crawling. It's ridiculous. It shouldn't be that way. There's no excuse for it. So, getting rid of the clogged traffic, getting rid of the parking problem in downtown Nashville. It's insane trying to find a parking space over there. And finally, just a health pollution issue. I know that when I'm in Nashville, I tend to have allergies that I highly suspect are actually related to pollution rather than to flowering plants, because I've lived in a number of places with a great deal of flowering plants that I don't have issues with allergies as like I do in Nashville. So, the question is, what kind of transportation would be practical to create a system with in Nashville? Trains. Trains are an interesting thing in that I heard a rumor once that someone suggested to the Defense Department when they were making the interstates that they make it in such a way that a train system could be built along with it, and perhaps automotive or oil industries kind of influenced that as a bad idea and convinced them not to do it. So that's why we don't have a train system commuting people across the country. Unfortunate. Another thing is the subway, which a subway would be real freaking expensive to do in Nashville in particular, because Nashville, it's not so much soil as rock. There's a lot of rock very shortly beneath the soil in Nashville. But buses. What about buses? Could we not have a commuter parking lot in various areas that are more sprawling in Nashville, and could bring people in regularly in the mornings and the evenings to and from work, and then make sure it just makes plenty of stops around the Nashville downtown area? That would seem to make the most sense to me. All it would require is having the buses, number one, and number two, advertising those as not just a public transportation for tourists, because I see lots of tourist buses in Nashville, but not buses carrying local people to and from their jobs, which is what we really, really badly need. So, how feasible is this? It seems the most practical option, at least for Nashville. And how do we get people to actually use it? How do we advertise it? How do we make this a reality instead of just a pipe dream? It really doesn't seem to be that extreme an idea to me, and it seems fairly common sense. So anyone who has ideas about how to get something like this going, whether politically or practically or anything, or just has comments about any of the ideas that I've been talking about here, even if you want to share criticism or call me crazy or whatever you want to do, please respond. I really want input on all of these and to figure out how to do these in a practical way. So, thank you for listening.